It doesn't really shift anything with Caitlin. I think it continues to be, the most important thing is that she's 100% when she's ready to come back. But her long-term health and wellness is the most important thing.
In a fiery showdown that rocked the Indiana Fever's arena, Coach Stephanie White unleashed a stunning outburst at Caitlin Clark. Leave if you want. On August 26, 2025, this explosive clash in Indianapolis sent shockwaves through the WNBA. But what sparked White's fiery ultimatum? Is Clark's future with the team in jeopardy? Fans are buzzing with wild theories. Was it a clash of egos or a hidden rift? Let's uncover the truth behind this game-changing moment. Caitlin Clark's injury. Mystery. What's really going on? This isn't just another small detail slipping through the cracks. What we're watching unfold feels like a storm of confusion surrounding Caitlin Clark, and it's hard to shake the sense that something simply isn't adding up. For weeks now, fans have been fed different pieces of the puzzle: official statements, hopeful predictions, and even casual throwaway comments. But when you try to piece it all together, the picture looks anything but clear. Is this a simple case of miscommunication, or are we watching a much bigger credibility problem within the Fever front office? Let's rewind. Back in mid-July, Clark reportedly picked up a groin injury during a collision with J.C.S. Sheldon. At the time, the message was straightforward, day-to-day, with a likely return by the end of August. That sounded manageable, even reassuring. Fast forward, and we're nearly at the end of that timeline, yet Clark still hasn't been spotted participating in open practice. Instead of progress, the story seems to be shifting, and that's where eyebrows start to raise. By early August, another version emerged, an injury supposedly sustained during a workout around August 7th, a convenient update, tidy enough to roll out in press conferences. But then, footage surfaced of Caitlin casually strolling through Phoenix that exact day, looking more like a fashion model than an injured athlete. No limp, no hesitation, just Clark with a designer bag on her arm, completely composed. How do fans reconcile that image with the narrative being pushed? Coach Stephanie White, standing firmly by her story, told reporters on August 12th that she hoped Clark would be back in practice soon. Yet practice came and went, and Clark was nowhere to be seen. Status quo until Clark is back at practice, White repeated. But status quo for who? Certainly not for the fans who've been patiently waiting for over 5 weeks, clinging to every update. To make things murkier, whispers of another setback began circulating, an ankle injury this time, possibly happening during recovery. One reporter swears that slowed her down, while another insists it didn't matter. Meanwhile, teammates like Natasha Howard teased fans with lines like, "See you soon, Cece," only adding to the sense that Clark's return was imminent. But here we are, still asking the same questions. And perhaps the most frustrating part? Instead of acknowledging the mess, the organization doubled down. Reporters even laughed on air while retelling her injury timeline, turning Caitlin's absence into a punchline. Should fans really accept jokes when the league's biggest star, the very player fueling record-breaking ratings, remains sidelined? Maybe there's more to this story. Maybe the truth is simpler than it looks. But until real clarity emerges, speculation will keep running wild. After all, fans don't need Clark's full medical file. We just want honesty about when we'll finally see her back on the court. But what is the Fever hiding about Caitlin Clark? Stay glued to your screen to uncover the truth. The Fever's silence is fueling Caitlin Clark, conspiracy theories. Something just doesn't add up with the Indiana Fever right now. Fans are connecting dots in real time, and the picture forming isn't pretty. A billion-dollar star in Caitlin Clark joins your roster, and somehow, the story around her health, her treatment, and even her respect inside the organization feels like a circus act. It's one thing to fumble a PR move. It's another to insult the intelligence of fans who watch every play, rewind every clip, and never forget a single receipt. Take, for instance, that viral video many of you have seen. Assistant coach Bon January, whether intentional or not, clearly stepped on Caitlin's left foot during a game. That's the same foot that's been the subject of whispers ever since. The camera doesn't lie, but suddenly we're fed this workout mishap story, conveniently timed and strangely vague. If the timeline doesn't match, what are fans supposed to believe? Was it an innocent gym accident? Or was the injury connected to something that happened on the court, right in front of thousands of people? The Fever's response? Silence, evasion, spin. And that's exactly how conspiracy theories are born, not because fans invent them out of thin air, but because the team refuses to give straight answers. When you grin, deny, and downplay what the whole world can see on video, you're not just protecting the organization. You're telling the fan base you think they're too naive to notice. Spoiler alert, they notice everything. And here's the kicker. Fans aren't even arguing about whether Caitlyn's tough enough. They know she'll fight through just about anything. What they're questioning is the credibility of the very people meant to guide and protect her. How can a franchise with such a generational talent at the center handle things so sloppily? How does a billion-dollar name get treated like just another player? Of course, maybe the Fever are being truthful. Maybe it really was just bad luck at a workout and nothing more. But if that's the case, why bury the obvious? Why let the rumor mill churn while refusing to put the speculation to rest? Until the team offers clarity, the whispers will only get louder. And the longer this drags on, the more it risks becoming a scandal far bigger than a simple injury. And what hidden drama surrounds Caitlin Clark's rise, fame, fouls, and WNBA's future? Stay with us to find out. The Caitlin Clark storm, fame, fouls, and the future of the WNBA. The spotlight on Caitlin Clark has never been brighter, yet with every cheer comes a shadow of controversy. Her rookie year wasn't just about breaking scoring records, it was about surviving on a court where protection often seemed optional. Fans couldn't ignore the rough plays that piled up, especially that late-game collision against the Connecticut Sun, which reignited debate over whether officials are giving her the fairness she deserves. Some say it's part of the rookie treatment, others wonder if it's something deeper. But what complicates matters isn't only officiating. The WNBA has been grappling with a swirl of challenges: unsafe crowd behavior, stricter arena rules, and a growing need for mental health support. The league's No Space for Hate initiative rolled out in 2024 with AI monitoring and policies designed to protect athletes, but many critics argue the efforts only scratch the surface. Stricter fouls, more sideline security. Fans are still asking if enough is truly being done. And yet, despite the chaos, the numbers don't lie. Caitlin Clark's name drives attention like no other. A $28 million Nike deal crowned Times Athlete of the Year in 2024, and a July 27th matchup against the Chicago Sky that drew 1.7 million viewers, one of the highest-rated regular season games ever. All of this while navigating injuries, jeers, and yes, the infamous Olympic snub that left fans divided and furious. How could a player of her impact be left out of Team USA? Speculation swirls. Was it strategy, politics, or something unspoken? Then there's her fiery rivalry with Angel Reese, a storyline fans can't resist. Their matchups spark heated debates across social media, often blurring the lines between basketball analysis and cultural commentary. Some fans say the rivalry is saving the WNBA, while others worry it's overshadowing the bigger picture: player safety, fair officiating, and the league's long-term growth. So, where does this leave us? The WNBA is undeniably surging, but the questions keep growing louder. Can the league balance star power with player protection? Will Clark's presence push officials to rethink foul standards? And what role will fans play, fueling toxic narratives or demanding better from the game they love? But what really sparked the Caitlin Clark controversy? And why are fans furious? Stay glued to your screen to find out. The Caitlin Clark controversy that has fans furious. The Indiana Fever should be riding high on the wave of Caitlin Clark's incredible star power, but instead, The franchise seems trapped in controversy. Fans who packed arenas and bought merchandise with the hope of seeing Clark dominate the court are now left scratching their heads. Why? Because the story of her injury keeps shifting, and the explanations don't always add up. At the center of it all stands head coach Stephanie White. Some fans argue she's simply protecting her player, while others believe she's part of something bigger, maybe even a strategy to keep ticket sales strong despite Clark's uncertain availability. Could this really be just a case of miscommunication, or does it hint at something more deliberate? That's the question blowing up in fan circles right now. Caitlin Clark didn't just join the WNBA, she exploded onto the scene, drawing ratings that the league had never dreamed of. Yet almost as quickly, critics claimed she wasn't physically ready, pushing narratives about her needing more muscle and more strength. If that pressure led to rushed training and ultimately her body breaking down, then maybe this isn't bad luck at all, it's bad planning. And when bad planning derails a season, somebody has to take the blame. What's fueling the fire is the possibility that her return timeline has been exaggerated, even manipulated, to keep hope alive. Some fans suspect she may have been pushed back too soon, risking greater damage, while others whisper that the Fever might be eyeing a playoff surprise instead of full transparency. It's no wonder people are wondering aloud, was Clark's injury worse than they ever admitted? For now, nothing is confirmed. But the silence, the shifting dates, and the endless rumors are painting a messy picture. Whether it's mismanagement, desperation, or just a series of unfortunate setbacks, one thing is clear. This saga has left the Fever's credibility hanging by a thread, and fans are demanding answers. But what really happened behind Caitlin Clark's shocking injury? Stay connected to your screen to uncover the full story. Behind the silence, the Caitlin Clark injury drama. From the very first whispers of Caitlin Clark's groin injury, the story has felt less like a straightforward update and more like a tangled web of mixed signals. One day she's day-to-day, the next she's suddenly out indefinitely. And just when fans think she might return, like the much-hyped August 12th target date, everything shifts again. It's no wonder Fever supporters are starting to raise their eyebrows and ask if something much bigger is going on behind the scenes. Think about it. How can a player be labeled a game-time decision for a Dallas matchup, only for her coach, Stephanie White, to admit after practice that Caitlin hasn't even been training? That sudden shift didn't just confuse people. It poured fuel on an already growing fire. If the organization's own words don't line up, why should anyone trust the narrative being sold? Is this a case of mismanagement, or simply poor communication spiraling out of control? Fans, of course, are not holding back. Some are even saying Caitlin should abandon the Fever's medical staff altogether and return to the Iowa doctors she knows and trusts. Harsh? Maybe. But can you blame them for wondering if their star is being rushed back for ticket sales or TV ratings? After all, silence and half-answers often shout louder than clarity, and right now, many believe the team's strategy looks more like damage control than protection. Still, there's another side to consider. Injury details for any high-profile athlete are rarely laid bare. Sometimes secrecy shields players from being targeted by opponents who would exploit weaknesses. Maybe the Fever are trying to protect Caitlin, even if it doesn't look that way. But then again, if that's the plan, why not say so? Why not at least give consistent, honest updates instead of moving goalposts every other week? For fans who've watched Caitlin break attendance records and energize women's basketball like no one in decades, this isn't just about an injury. It's about trust, transparency, and the uneasy feeling that their brightest star might be caught in the shadows of something much larger. But what really caused Caitlin Clark's sudden absence? Scandal, strategy, or something else? Keep watching. Caitlin Clark's mysterious absence, the WNBA scandal. The Indiana Fever were finally showing signs of life, and Caitlin Clark was at the center of it all, scoring, dazzling, and reminding everyone why she's the heartbeat of the league. But suddenly, just as momentum was building, she vanished. No updates, no interviews, nothing. Fans started noticing, whispers turned into speculation, and the timing, suspicious, to say the least. August 7th. Rumor has it she suffered a left ankle bone bruise during a game against Brienne January, but the team only confirmed it much later. Why wait? Why keep the most valuable player in sports under wraps? This isn't just about one injury. Caitlin Clark isn't just a star, she's the WNBA's engine. Her presence fills arenas, boosts ratings, and keeps sponsors invested. When she's sidelined, everything feels the shockwave. Ticket sales dip, TV ratings drop, and the corporate interest that keeps the league afloat starts wavering. Yet, despite this, fans were fed a vague timeline that barely explained the situation. And when head coach Stephanie White finally spoke, she spun a narrative that felt off, leaving more questions than answers. Zoom out, and it's bigger than just a missed game or a mismanaged injury. Caitlin has faced scrutiny since day one. Blatant fouls ignored, commentators nitpicking every play, jealous rivals targeting her physically. And now, whispers suggest even those entrusted to protect her, her own coach, might be adding fuel to the fire. Was this an oversight, or something more intentional? The impact on her career is real. Every rushed return, every mishandled injury, every misleading statement chips away at her longevity. Yet, despite the chaos, one thing remains undeniable. Her fan base grows louder, more loyal, and more defiant with every obstacle. Still, the situation has sparked outrage and could leave lasting consequences for Stephanie White and the Fever. Fans are demanding transparency, and if honesty doesn't come soon, this story isn't just going to fade, it's going to explode. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's a force, and everyone involved better recognize that before it's too late. But what really happened behind Caitlin Clark's comeback? Secrets the Indiana Fever don't want you to know? Stay tuned. Caitlin Clark. Comeback drama, the Indiana Fever's secrets revealed. And get this, the story we're seeing unfold isn't just drama, it's a ticking time bomb. Fans have been holding their breath, waiting for Caitlin Clark to make the comeback they were promised, but the pieces just don't fit. Reports suggest she might have been sidelined as early as May 7th, yet statements from Stephanie White on ESPN around May 12th insisted Clark was ready to return. That mismatch? It's raising eyebrows and sparking serious questions about what the Fever is actually telling the public. People outside Indiana are now circling. National media outlets are starting to dig, and when they fully unpack this, it could spiral into something massive. Fans aren't just angry, they're connecting the dots, stacking receipts, and pointing out inconsistencies that could point to real legal trouble. Misleading fans about ticketed events, broadcasts, and merchandise tied to a superstar isn't just bad optics. It's potentially consumer fraud. And if watchdogs get involved, Stephanie White and the Fever could find themselves answering questions far beyond public relations nightmares. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is caught in a tough spot. She knows the timelines don't add up, knows the spin, but she can't publicly call out her coach without risking backlash. Forced to smile and nod, she's silenced in her own story. A reminder of how much pressure players face behind the scenes. Fans with tickets, airline reservations, and game plans are already feeling the fallout of these decisions, and the frustration is boiling over. So where do we go from here? Either the Fever comes clean, acknowledges the mishandling, and starts treating Clark like the franchise player she is, or they keep the narrative spinning. And if that spin unravels, the consequences could be enormous. Fan outrage, media scrutiny, and even potential investigations that could rock the WNBA. One thing's clear, the story isn't just about a missed game. It's about trust, transparency, and the power of a fan base that refuses to be misled. And when the truth finally surfaces, the regret won't just belong to the players, it'll belong to everyone who thought they could control the story. But what really happened with the Indiana Fever? Were fans misled? Stay glued to find out. Did the Indiana Fever mislead fans? The moment the Indiana Fever announced Caitlin Clark's status, a wave of confusion and frustration swept through the WNBA world. Fans, clutching tickets and dreams of seeing her electrifying play, were suddenly left questioning everything. Was the team being completely honest? Or was this carefully crafted messaging designed to protect revenues while leaving supporters in the dark? The truth feels tangled, and the stakes are higher than many realize. Imagine the ripple effects if it turns out the Fever knowingly misled fans. Social media outrage could spiral into full-scale investigations, possibly forcing regulators to step in. We're not just talking angry tweets. Think potential fines, class action lawsuits, and sponsors reconsidering multi-million-dollar deals tied to Clark's star power. These companies invest in her talent and appeal, not in a story that feels more like a cover-up. Once confidence wavers, dollars vanish, and the league's national credibility hangs in the balance. The concern goes beyond finances. Every misstep chips away at trust, the foundation connecting players, fans, and the league itself. When reports suggest that messages were coordinated to protect revenue rather than deliver transparency, it raises a question that fans are itching to ask. Who is really looking out for Caitlin Clark? Her health, career, and reputation deserve protection, not speculation and half-truths. The Fever's handling of this situation has put all of that in jeopardy. This saga isn't just a PR nightmare, it's a test of accountability. The WNBA brass, led by Kathy Engelbert, could face pressure to intervene with independent medical evaluations, stricter transparency protocols, or internal investigations. Every day that goes by without clear answers makes the story bigger and more damaging. The pattern of miscommunication hints at deeper issues, prioritizing short-term profits over fan trust and player welfare. At the heart of it, this is about more than an injury or a delayed announcement. It's about the relationship between the league and its most devoted supporters. Caitlin Clark is the face of women's basketball, a once-in-a-generation talent whose legacy deserves truth, honesty, and respect. Fans are asking the right questions, and until the Fever provides answers, scrutiny isn't going anywhere. The league's credibility, the team's reputation, and Clark's future all hang in the balance, and everyone watching knows it. So, what do you think sparked Stephanie White snapping at Caitlin Clark with, "Leave if you want"? Could tensions be deeper than we see? We'd like to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to comment below.